Hi everyone, welcome back to another gameplay of Infinitode 2. So there's been a minor update to the game, even though it's not listed right here, and it was an update especially regarding the antiviruses and some issues of certain computers with the game. So hopefully now that should be fixed. And now many of you are wondering why am I uploading no videos about this game. And I've done some researches, at the beginning, especially about how 1.9 affects, the strategies, the progression. And what I'm actually doing is I'm waiting for some additional balance patch notes and some changes to occur, so that then I can do an actual account series where I just create a new account from scratch and I go all the way to full endless. I wanted to do that so that I can go through all the process step by step with you guys, always recording as I've done in the past, and it can give you an updated way to approach the game considering the changes on 1.9. So I'm waiting here because I would not like to start doing the series and then maybe a minor update hits and some things are still changed, and therefore some videos that maybe I did 1 month ago are already outdated. I wouldn't like to have that. So I'm waiting for the game to stabilize and then I might do the series. And now something that also I've been asked a lot is about selling cast maps. So what about selling cast maps now that it's 1.9? Is there any difference compared to before? And the answer for that is no, it's everything exactly as before. So all the videos that I have about selling cast maps for more than 50 tickets, or in the endless stages, so that you can get a lot of prestige tickets, they're still valuable, they're still good, and I recommend you to follow those guides because they're still doable in this latest update. The only thing that has changed, if I had to do anything, is the fact that now the prestige ticket drop rate can be upgraded up to level 100. Before, level 20 was the maximum, now it's level 100, and of course that means that we can get an additional 80 levels on top of the ones that we had before. And if you just count, it's 12% each level, so 12 times 80, it should be 960% more, so it should be 145% plus 960, so that should be the total percentage that we would get extra if you get to level 100. And now each level actually above level 20 is always going to cost the same. It's going to cost 999 million green papers. So that's just it. So if I do this right, it should be pretty close to it. Yeah, just like that, right? Yeah, 999 is the maximum actually in game, and then once you reach that, you can get the upgrade, and that's it. So this is the only way in which you can keep increasing the amount of prestige tickets you earn from selling your cast maps. That's the only thing really that's different, but all the other upgrades, everything else is the same. Also the cost, I think, is the same. It hasn't been changed. So yeah, all my past videos are still worth it. I'm gonna do a quick summary in this video, but again, remember, you can go for in-depth, you can go watch my past guides. And remember that when you're playing your cast maps, and especially you want to sell them to get as many prestige tickets as possible, you're going to place your most valuable resources. So always go on the sources ones. The legendary are going to always be worth good. And especially the ones you only have inferior. With the ones where you have mixed resources, like for example 3 here, it's lower. See, it's much lower. So you're going to place first the only inferior ones. Right, for example, this one right here, see, this one, it's always good, worth a lot. And only after you place the only inferior, then you can start looking for those who are mixed in terms of they only have 2 types of resources. For example, see, this one is still pretty good, it's almost 300, which is a pretty decent amount off. This one is 350. So just take a look at these small numbers, and when you see only 2 numbers and you see pretty decent amount of the resources, that probably means that it's pretty valuable, and you want to place those. All right, remember placing those. Then once you don't have inferior anymore, you move to tensor. Again, only tensor first, such as all these ones, and then again you go for tensor, which is kind of split. You always want to place sources that at least are more than 300 MP first, or around 300. Right, don't go too lower than that. And then once you have exhausted all your inferior and tensor ones, You can even go down to your matrix ones, especially the ones at 100%, which, because again, they're pretty good, high value. The ones where you have, for example, 60% or 80% are lower. So maybe you can keep those for later on, but the 100 ones, the 100% ones are pretty good. And again, if you have any spots remaining, that's when you want to move to platforms. Remember always to start from the power 5 platforms. It's 305 MP. Then once you have finished those, you can move to the upgrade discount. Then you can move to attack speed, right? And all the way down to selling refund, which is 240 MP. Now, I recommend you always to try to sell as many tasks as possible, because you get a lot more value when you sell them than when you like when you sell them in a cast map, right? That when you sell them directly for prestige dust. So once you have sold one map, maybe you still have some sources remaining, you could do a second map, and then maybe you're selling even a third map. Make sure you place always all the platforms, and you always go to the even lower tiers of the sources, because again, remember, sources can even at lower levels, they're still pretty good. 290 right here, right? 260. So like you want to place as many of them. What I recommend you not to do is to place sources that are lower than 200 value. So this one, like 138, those ones, I mean, because you shouldn't really have that many of those, and they don't really change that much because it's just a little value. So but all the other sources, everything that you can place, it's good, and you can sell it, it's good, it's better. Remember then that you can fill the interlinear spots with the teleports, right? You can just fill all the teleports in the middle. You can see here, place the sources, and then teleports around it in the corners, which is super nice. And then you also have the barriers if you would like to, again, have something more. But again, barriers are very low value. So the maximum ones, like when you have 4 enemies blocking, it's like 130, which I think is the maximum. I have never seen like a barrier blocking 5 type of enemies, at least the ones that you can get on your cast maps. So yeah, that's the maximum. So again, like teleports, I think is better. And then remember, you need always to create this path for Crasher, to be able to actually play the map and to get the score done. So remember always, if you have some core, to place it, the legendary ones, or even the epic ones, because they're pretty good value, especially the legendary ones. The legendary ones are super good. And then remember, your portal has to be at least 350% difficulty. Sorry, 340, I think it was 340, because in that way you get the maximum benefits from playing on endless, on minimum endless, of course. And then the base will, I mean, always look for a range base, so base that increases range and that has the disabling effect of research. If you can also have enemies walk on platforms and have an initial damage, a little bit or extra damage, then it's something more. But at least you have to get the disabling of research and range. So at least like 20%, I would say it's minimum. Like 30% is already good, but at least 20 is fine. And then you always go for a projectile speed tile. Projectile speed, like I know, 99% of scenarios it's best. In certain scenarios where you have, for example, a very good base that has a lot of like range, for example, has a lot of damage and a lot of projectile speed, like 50 and 50 or like 40-40, then you might try to go for a range tile. Sometimes that could also work, but generally speaking, I always recommend to go for projectile speed because it's 300%, like it triples it compared to the only 50% that you will get from the base. But yeah, you can just experiment. The important thing is be able to survive until you can get your 4000 score, which should be the case if your base has more than 500% difficulty combined. So remember, more than 340% in game, and then it disables research. So that should be always the same score needed. So 4000, and just need to survive until then. So yeah, that's it. So you upgrade the base. You can go for the for the first path, or the middle path. Sometimes it's the same, just go for the first on the middle. If there are many enemies, then you can go for the middle. If there are few enemies but are stronger, you might go for the first one. And you can see here that I already got it. Like I got 7,600 score, so almost double. Of course, here I got a super strong base, but that's just to show you that, generally speaking, you might need to some RNG, to control if you have very unlucky and the portal has many enemies to which Crusher is weak against. You might, struggle a little bit there. But then don't worry, even if you have flying enemies, even though Crusher cannot hit flying enemies, but it doesn't really matter because it's not guaranteed that those flying enemies are gonna come out in the first 8 waves. So the important thing is the first 8 waves. If you can get enough score there, then you should be fine. So yeah, that's it. And then remember, you end the game, and then you sell the cast map, and then you get all the prestige tickets, depending on the value and depending on the amount of tiles you have placed and the map price and so forth. You get the prestige tickets, and then you can use those, of course, on loot frequency and loot variety. That's why you want to sell cast maps. And remember always to keep a 2:1 ratio between loot frequency and loot variety until 40 and 20. Then you want to go only for loot frequency until level 93. Then you reset loot variety, you get loot frequency 98. Then you just go for loot variety up to 100, and that's it. Even this progression is still the best one, and it's still the one that you want to get, because you still get the extra insane amount of loot when you reach level 97 and then eventually level 98. So yeah, that's it, guys. This was a very quick summary of selling cast maps. Again, on 1.9, nothing really has changed that much. So make sure you watch my past videos, and you can go and have some more in-depth guides there. So I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and see ya. Bye bye.